skirt and a jacket. I just wanna get her all alone on a mattress. I just wanna have it, I just gotta have it. Rumors all around say her body is fantastic, all natural, not a piece of fur is plastic. Head to her toes, yeah, they say that she's a latch. Yeah, the whispers all around say she has a reputation. Don't believe it till I see it, so I want a demonstration. And I've always learned it better with a hands-on education. So I need a private session, if you get what I am saying. And they say that she's not easy, no, she's really complicated, but that only makes it better, and it's got me so fixated. And I'm not the type to wait around, I've never hesitated, but she's got me captivated, so the game, I'm gonna play it, yeah. She's got a body like a coke thing, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a coke thing, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. When you're undressed, I heard you like to get away, I heard you like to stay out late, I heard you had a couple boyfriends, I heard they didn't treat you right, I heard you're hated by your girlfriends, cause all the guys want you tonight. Yeah, they say she's too hot, they say she's too cold, where she came from nobody really knows. They say she looks young, but say she acts old. From everything I've heard, she gets out of control. And all the boys say she was sent from the heavens, but I'm not too sure that this girl is a blessing. She's got the devil's eyes and they'll cut you like a weapon. She's stuck in my mind like a bad obsession, got bad intentions. She's got a body like a coke thing, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a coke thing, she likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely, I want that body, baby, show me. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine, yeah. Everything I do, I'm just being genuine, yeah. I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
Thunder, why did you spoil it, man?
I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning, there ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here I'm scream, okay, it's a dream. And I pray as a team, one day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit, have no shame, I admit it. Looking right at me to see if I succeed, to see if I believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. I swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching others what to do. I'm staying focused, my mind is open. They start to notice that I'm in motion. There is no potion, you're not just chosen. It takes devotion to stay composed, man. Never stop, there ain't no time to fall. Try to live, get it all, you got one life to ball. Thinking big, never small, cause you gotta want it all. When you finally get that call, you get ready, take it on. Need a hand out, I already
Oeh, dat is echt een zonderklap. Let's go!
Best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of
Underneath is the white side. Gavra coming front, but here comes Epic now pushing Tiger. Tiger goes defensive to the inside. Tiger on the inside. Epic will try to go round the outside. One corner to go. On the last lap, this is going to be insane. So here comes Dodgy as well. Tiger is going to look like it's going to win, but it's a track race for seconds. And somehow,
He's got the DRS! And here he goes in down this mini back straight, and now he's on the brake.
Pemberley now he's going to be looking for DRS. There's 4 drivers going at it. Dirty Larry goes around the outside. Oh, let's have a look here. Oh, it's Pemberley's going around the outside. All of them. And on the inside. Gets on the inside line. Really, I mean, done from the Mercedes driver. Wow.
Everybody, and welcome to round 12 of the Premier Series. It's Austin, it's Wet, and my co-commentator is ex-Natty G. Do you want to say hello?
Hello guys, welcome back to round 12 or 11 of the Premier Series, sorry, not the freshman. And yeah, we're back for USA. Like you said earlier, it's a very wet quali here, intermediate conditions. We're seeing a few times come in the board at the minute, but it's going to make for a very interesting quali.
And yeah, I was just spectating Tiger Assassin out here on the lap at the moment on the intermediate tyre here. Now he's gone for a second run, so putting a bit more fuel in these conditions so he can learn with multiple laps where the grip is around the track and go even faster. Frozer currently set to provisional pole time on a 1 minute 46.8. That is a long way off what we would expect to see in the dry, obviously, but with 10 minutes of the session remaining, the rain does not look like it's showing any signs of abating at the moment.
Yeah, intermediate conditions. I think it's got a little bit lighter since we started about 5 minutes ago, but yeah, it looks like it's going to stay wet for the entirety of the qualifying session, which should make for some interesting strategies going into the race, seeing what different tyre compounds each driver start the race on.
And yeah, so 19 corners or 20 corners round this track here in the Lone Star state of Texas in the southern USA. New track built in 2012, some images of a Red Bull going around it, that was still mostly dirt. But yeah, a very exciting racetrack for the viewers here today. Natty, a reverse Turkey Turn 8 style corner in the last section as well for the drivers to contend with in the dry, yet alone talking about it in the wet. And it could have quite an important implication for the championship standings. Speaking of which, ex-Natty G, would you like to tell us what they are?
Yeah, sure thing. So we've only got a few races left, 2 after this one, and as it stands, Absolute 11 after, I was going to say a good race, but both him and Cashdown were not really on the pace of the likes of Shankster last week. It does extend his championship lead though by only 8 points, 162 points for Absolute 11, Cashdown with 154 behind in second. Napula is about 50 odd points behind those two on 106 points and needs to outscore Absolute 11 this race in order to keep his championship fights alive. And just quickly heading into constructors, it's very close between Alfa Romeo and Alpha Tauri. 249 points for Alfa Romeo, 234 for Alpha Tauri. That's only a 15 points gap between the two constructors, and it's still all to play for.
Yeah, I'm going to turn up my microphone level. Alright, there we go. It's just so you guys can hear me a bit better. Lot of cars having invalidated laps here, Natty. That is a difficult thing to contend with in the dry. In the wet, it's even worse because the car is more slippery, more slidey on the low grip surface here. That can cause a lot more drivers to have their lap times discounted. Nonetheless, Froze is still on pole. Thunder currently joins him on the front row. And as you were saying before, you get the sense that the track is starting to dry up here a little bit, with the times steadily improving.
Yeah, definitely. Like we saw in Austria last season in real life in the quali session, the times were improving dramatically as the quali session went on. We're starting to see some quicker times here tonight. I do have secret information about what the conditions are like in the race, but I'm not going to spoil that until the end of the quali session going into the race. So I'll keep that all a surprise, you guys. But yeah, this is a really interesting qualifying session with the rain, as you say, but we're starting to see some quick times in, and a few people who haven't set times as yet.
Yes, certainly. If my mic volume is still too low, please let me know in the chat. I did just change it and put it up a bit. If it's still too low, just let me know in the chat there as well. But yeah, Shankster, last time race winner out there in Singapore, comes across the line now and goes on to provisional pole by about 3,000ths of a 300, of a second, ahead of his teammate Froza. And just like in real life, Natty hits a Mercedes front row lock at the moment. Never mind, Nathan's on pole now, 1 minute 45.7. The man who has been on the podium in every race since Spa. He is on great form in the latter stage of this season.
Yeah, Napula, one in Spa, one in Monza, almost like a Charles Leclerc style there. Hopefully he can get his championship hopes back up and running again with a good result here tonight in USA. But another championship contender in terms of positions, perhaps, Napula, sorry. Shankster as well, really good in Singapore last week, currently in second place at the minute.
And yes, certainly very close in the championship once again. Is that loud enough? Hopefully that's loud enough. Okay, well, I'm going to assume it is. Cash Stengel up there in third, 1 minute 46.0 for the nearest challenger to absolute 11 in the championship on another 1 minute 46.0. But the championship leader, Natty, here, down in P11 at the moment. We're going to ride on board now with the AlphaTauri as he makes his way around this lap here in the US of A. His teammate Von Evil goes to provisional pole as we head up into turn 1, lock up on the front left for the German, and then heading down the hill now, very treacherous in the wet. Make sure to short shift through the gears so you don't lose the rear on traction. And now into the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section, taken from the Silverstone circuit, placed here in Austin as the AlphaTauri navigates his way very well through there, carefully balancing on the throttle through the latter stages now of the first sector to make sure we keep the car nice and together and pointing in the right direction. Again, short shifting as it over the top of the hill now and down towards turn 11, which will lead us onto the back straight. This corner is so critical for getting a good run down the back straight and improving your lap time. Short shift up through the gears once again for absolute 11, the points leader. Now just let your mind relax a little bit as you head down the back straight, the scene of many interesting overtakes here. Hamilton and Bottas in 2019, Hamilton and Vettel in 2012 are now heading towards turn 12, the beginning of the very slow final sector. A lot of late apex and the slightly cambered corners. It's on the purple middle sector. This could be a good lap here from the championship leader. His lead has been slashed over the last few races, down now to just 8 points at the head of the championship. Absolute 11 now through the second sector split. Into the final sector, the reverse turkey style turn 8 corner as we head now towards turn 19. Watch for the track limits on the outside. Make sure you get all your braking done in a straight line. Don't track extend. Absolute 11 manages to stay off the green AstroTurf and keeps the lap all together as he heads through the final corner of turn 20 into the line. What's it going to be for Absolute 11? It's a 1 minute 45.4. He goes into P4, and that will be a solid lap from the German, but I think he'll be looking for a bit more improvement.
Yeah, and crucially, he's behind his championship rival Cash Stengel, just a tenth quicker than the AlphaTauri driver Napula as well, improving in his last lap, getting ever so closer to the other AlphaTauri of Von Evil. The times are really close out up top. The two Mercedes are just coming out on outlaps now, so they'll be looking to improve on their times with 4 minutes left to go. I think it's now time for some drivers to put about 3-4 laps of fuel in the car and really just try and heat those intermediates up, do 2 or 3 laps on those tyres and see what they can do towards the end of this quali session.
Yeah, this is kind of reminding me a bit of Formula E qualifying a little bit. Do drivers go out for 2 prep laps and then the push lap, or do they just go out for 1 out lap and just fully attack it on these intermediate tyres? I think that we're going to get a lot of drivers going out for their final runs very soon. Obviously, because the lap time is longer in the wet, there is less downtime in the pit lane for all of these drivers this evening.
Yeah, we've still got 2 drivers who haven't set times, the Ferrari of Isaac Smart and the Red Bull of Wolfie. Both of them are on invalid laps. Isaacs has just started his lap, so hopefully he can get a time on the board, a competitive time, since put here somewhere in the midfield or towards the front of the grid.
And Isaac Smart yet to finish a race in the points here in the Premier. He'll be doing his best to change that statistic tonight. Oh, he's lost it in the middle sector. Oh, and into the barrier goes the Brit. We'll have to see if he has any damage done to the car when we get to an off-board shot of that Ferrari. and really struggling in these wet conditions. Luckily gets away with it with no damage somehow on that SF1000, but Isaac Spark will keep going and he'll probably save the ERS and go for another lap, or not have a chance to get back into the pits and go again.
Yeah, unfortunate for Isaac there. One of the only drivers who hasn't set a lap as well. Wolfie's still in the pit lane by the sounds, by the looks of things. The Red Bull team don't appear to be preparing the car to go out on track. Thunder's already out on track. So it looks like Wolfie's going to be staying in the pit lane, but I see the Red Bull mechanic, and Wolfie is coming out on track now to hopefully set a lap time on the leaderboards.
And you can just see the Irishman heading out onto the track. Conditions he'll be all too familiar with at home. Obviously it does rain a lot there, or so I'm told. Bon Evil though, currently on provisional pole, 1 minute 45.1. I'm looking at that gap now between Absolute and Shankster, 0.6 of a second. There's a lot of time for Shankster to find on this lap, although he has just done a purple first sector. That means that he has done the fastest first sector of anybody. He's faster than his teammate Frozer through that sector as well, who is also on a flying lap. The two Mercedes now going down towards turn 11 and 12. Look at Frozer getting all kinds of out of shape there on exit. No such dramas for his teammate though, who currently is out qualifying him in this session. Nakna starting it out. So Nakna, interestingly here, Natty has gone for one outlap and attack. Same for Cash Stengel and for Bon Evil. I know people like it when I say Cash Stengel, apparently. So yeah, there's actually a story behind that. Dutchy basically just gave me and Tiger like a headache for many races because he kept saying like Cass and Tangle or something. So now it's apparently it's Cash Tangle, so we're saying Cash Tangle, though it means like cheese stick or something in Dutch, which is interesting. Yellows in sector 1 and 2. I think that is Isaac Smart again. Indeed it is. His teammate now just going past him through that sector. So at the same corner, in fact, for Isaac Smart there. So he's really struggling through that first sector now. But what can Frozer do as he rounds the final corner to the line? 45 seconds to go. Gets out of shape again. It's going to be a 45-2. Goes into the front row of the grid. What about Shanks? Now Shanks in the other Mercedes. He stays in P6. Only manages to gain 0.3 on his lap. He will be the next car over the line. I think it's going to be Thunder now in the other Red Bull that we saw going round the track. Going to be a 49-2. He is way off his lap from before. Spannel as well crossing the line. Spannel to start a lap, I think that is. And we've got an Alpha Tauri. Is that Bon Evil? It's Bon Evil starting her lap as well. So not quite a dying stages of qualifying just yet.
Yeah, I'm just comparing Shanks' sector times. He lost all of his time in the middle sector, so really unfortunate for him. It's looking like a really good lap. Lost about 0.3 through the middle sector. So gave those 0.3 back. Probably would have put him in 4th or possibly even 3rd place for the race.
And F1 Lover, your 4th place man in the championship, he has gone off in the first sector, and that will be his final qualifying lap. He will start 11th at best here in the Premier Series. Not what he would have wanted going into this race. Shanta's also invalidated on his lap, so he will start the higher than P6. Absolute 11 is improving on his time, 1500ths up through the middle sector, round the final corner now for the championship leader. Goes round turn 20, will be sure not to spin on the exit, I'm sure, to the line. Oh, he's put it on the exit, going to the provisional pole though, 145.1, and now it's an Alpha Tauri front row lockout, although Bon Evil's going even quicker now through the middle sector. And look at this, Natty, it's basically stopped raining in the middle sector. We could see the times absolutely plummet here, as Frozer is also on an invalidated lap. That's unfortunate for him. Napoli is improving on his time as well through the middle sector, but cars coming across the line. Frozer is already invalidated. There is a Ted going around the final corner as well. Now he's a Ted down on his time. What can Ted do in the McLaren? Can he put himself into the top 10? He goes into P13. It's not a terrible effort there from the McLaren. Oh, as GSY Pate spins in the pit, Thunder crosses the line, he's only 9th. But now let's look at Bon Evil, who's going to go across the line. Can she snatch pole back from her teammate? Yes, she can. First woman into the 1 minute 44, so she takes provisional pole at the moment. Who can knock her off though? Is Cash Stengel going to be able to do it across the line now for the 2nd place man in the championship? No, he is only 5th.
And I think that will be qualifying over then tonight. Wolfie has crossed the line after invalidating his only lap, so unfortunately did not get a time set on the board, and it's an Alpha Tauri 1-2 here tonight.
And to Heblerino, thank you very much. That does mean a lot. I try to minimise the voice breaks as well. Obviously, Tiger joining me on that one as well. He is obviously a great commentator and a great driver. Currently P10 in this qualifying session, and he'll try to go forward from there in the race. We'll talk. Oh, sorry. We'll talk strategy in a bit. But yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, interestingly, drying up at the end, I was expecting to see maybe a few more lap times improving, but I think it just got too dry that the intermediate started overheating to the point where a lot of the drivers couldn't really improve all that much.
It's a shame that we don't have the interslicks. Anyway, Bonneville takes pole position here in the Premier Series. Absolute 11 in second, making an Alpha Tauri front row lockout. Interesting. Frozer in third, Nakpila fourth, Cash Stengel in fifth, before Shankster will be the second of the two Mercedes in sixth. Guillotine, great qualifying from him, in seventh. Ben Roberts eighth, Thunder ninth, and Tiger Assassin rounding out the top 10. F1 Lover in 11th. He'll be going forward from there, I am sure. GSI Bates in 12th, Ted 13th, Spaniel 14th, James Beesfield 15th, and then Wolfie and Isaac Smart, who did not set qualifying times in that session. So let's talk strategy, and this is going to rain, and that's the bombshell you've been waiting to drop on us from the last 18 minutes, Natty.
Yep, I've been informed that it will be a dry to wet race with rain coming towards the end of the session. I think maybe 2 or 3 bars of rain at the end, so that should be interesting for the drivers. In terms of strategy, if it was an all-out dry race, a soft to medium is doable, but I think we'll see a mix between soft and hards if the rain doesn't eventually come at the end. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers start on. Maybe they might go on the hards and try and push towards the rain, or go aggressive on softs and mediums and then towards the wet period.
Yeah, let me just refresh this share play. Yeah, I'll do that, and we will be back straight away. Sorry for the intermission. Almost forgot. And there we go. We should be back. Should be all good. It's all good on my end anyway. Just checking that. Sorry, Dan. Yeah, should be back now. There we go. Hello and welcome back to the formation lap. Almost a bit of a scare there with the share play. I forgot it only lasts for an hour, but we are back nonetheless. Bonneville leading us away on this formation lap. And the first, is this the first pole of the season? I feel like it might be. If anyone actually knows in the chat, then let us know, because that would be embarrassing for both me and for Natty then. But
I can confirm that it is her first pole of the season.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Natty, for correcting me. No, I look silly. So 28 laps to go in this race. So the last time that this game said there would be rain in the last 2 blocks, it started raining on lap 3. If it starts raining on lap 3 here, I'll be very surprised, considering that it is, well, they're clear skies at the moment. Let's have a look at the selected tyres. So everyone, apart from Isaac Smart, Ben Roberts, Guillotine and Frozer, on the medium or the hard tyres. What does that tell you, Natty?
Well, it looks like the rain could be coming pretty soon then. Interesting that those guys are starting to start on the soft tyres. Maybe they're going to kind of push, just continuous quali lap after quali lap, pit again for another set of softs. Obviously, because it rains, you don't need to use 2 different dry tyres. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can make the strategy work. I remember in the last F1 game, the last time I'd done a league race around this track, well, the fresh tyres are a lot quicker than worn tyres, obviously, but around this track it makes quite a bit of difference, so it should be interesting.
And I would personally watch for Frozer getting a good start on those soft tyres. I'm trying to put both Alpha Tauris under pressure. Hasn't had a podium since round 4 of the season, has Frozer. He'll be dearly wishing to change that this evening as Isaac Smart assumes his final grid position. I'm going to hide the UI. let's go back up here to the front. We're going to get going for the American Grand Prix here in the Premier Series. The cars will re-solidify, and when it goes to 5 red lights, going to be racing here in Austin, Texas. And it's lights out, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. And look at that, Frozen has got a bad start. Off the line and now coming under pressure from Napula going into turn 1. There's an Alfa Romeo in the middle as well, making sure not to get sandwiched. You've got a couple of collisions there between the two Alfa Tauris. And then up to turn 1, Bonivel still leads away from her teammate, the championship leader, going into the S's for the first time. Bonivel maintains her lead now. Absolute 11 maintains second. Cash although moves up into 3rd position. Straight away they're looking to challenge both Alfa Tauris.
Saw end plate damage off at turn 3. There's quite a few cars going wide. I'm not sure who's got the damage. I'll try and find out who has picked up the damage. I think it's Wolfie. He's got front left end plate damage. I'm not sure if anyone else got damage. It went about 4 wide in towards turn 1, 3 wide in towards turn 2 and 3. But I think no one's had any major accidents, but a few end plate damages along the way.
And Spaniel there making a move on Isaac Smart to 13th down into turn 11. Absolute 11 closing onto the back of Bonivel here into turn 12. Nothing that he can do about that at the moment. She still leads the way. Thunder getting past Ben Roberts in the battle for 8th. Thunder pushing himself up the order now. You would expect Ben Roberts on those softs to have a certain advantage over the cars in front. But now look at Frozer down the inside of Cash Daniel for 3rd place on the road. Cass holds it though round the outside with the tracks. We'll have the inside line now going in to turns 18. And will Frozer be able to have a look again into 19 on the outside line? Can he make it work with a switchback? No, but Cass has gone very wide. That will undoubtedly be a warning for the Dutch driver as he heads across the line to start lap 2 of this race. And oh, is that Absolute 11 falling down the pack? That's on sound to Absolute 11 here. Has he disconnected here, Nasty?
Well, he's still in 2nd place on track. It could be the interval gaps. He's able to keep up with Bonivel, so I don't think it's his AI. I think it could be just some game issues with the interval gaps. But Wolfie's into the pits to repair the wing damage, and already Frozer with a 3-second time penalty. So I'm sure we're going to see quite a few of them this race. And Absolute's lagging a little bit. He's got the red X above his name. It's now disappeared, so hopefully he's back into try and fight for this championship.
And speaking of tight fights, here comes Frozer down the inside into turn 11, being forced on that with his fellow Dutchman down the exit and down the back straight. Here they go. They're going to go wheel to wheel down this straight. No TRS as of yet. That the game is lying to you there. Do not believe it. Here comes Cass though now, riding on board with the Alfa Romeo into turn 12. Will he make a move here? Backs out of it at the last possible moment.
That's a Guillotine and Williams going down the inside of Napula and has those fresh softs. It's Guillotine starting on the soft side compared to Napula starting on the mediums. Working well for the Williams driver, making positions in this race. Already up 2 positions from his starting position, and we're looking to try and catch up to Castellano and Frozer as well.
Yeah, certainly. Guillotine will be getting a bit of a nosebleed, I think, being this far up in the pack. Doing a great job at the moment, as you say, Natty, on those fresh, soft tyres. He's making absolutely rapid progress here through the field. Bonnie already has about a 0.8 second advantage now over her teammate, which could be crucial later on in the race when you come to decide who is going to be attacking, who will be defending. As it stands, Absolute 11 will have DRS on his teammate. But we see some team orders perhaps from the Alfa Tauri team.
Potentially, both of them fighting for constructors, but more importantly, I think Absolute 11 fighting for the drivers. His rival down in 4th place at the minute, so I'm sure he's going to be excited to see if this result ends as it is. But yeah, you might see some more team orders. However, the gap has extended to 1.2 seconds. I think Bonnie's going to wait for Absolute 11 to catch up and then maybe give the position through.
And Absolute had a really bad run there through the first sector, and here comes Frozer. That setup really not looking balanced on the rear. He's lost a lot of time now to Absolute 11 down the back straight. I don't think he'll be able to gain that back as he head into the braking zone of turn 12. Isaac Smart picks up GSY Batestown in his latest overtake for P12 at the moment. But yeah, Frozer there, the car does not look balanced at Mercedes, and it's really costing him time and opportunities to get past other cars.
Yeah,
oh, big crash, Isaac Smart's off.
That's unfortunate for Isaac. Had a few mistakes in quali. Maybe the setup's just not quite right or working for the Ferrari. Hopefully he can find his rhythm through this race. But overall, I'd say we've had a clean start to this one in USA. Only Wolfie, unfortunately, with the wing damage. But on those fresh mediums, hopefully he can fight up and gain a few positions, especially when the wet period comes.
And Frozer is much closer now to absolute 11. Will he go for a move into turn 1? He's late on the brakes, locks up on the front left, has to stick behind the AlphaTauri for now.
And Shanks are going with a similar strat to what he done in Singapore, starting by underfueling his car. You can see the yellow fuel light on his telemetry, so that indicating he needs to save fuel in this race. So it worked for him in Singapore, maybe it might work for him again today in USA.
And unlike last lap, it's Bon Evil who's really struggled through sector 1. That gap now down to 9/10 of a second, so absolutely will have some DRS to play with to attack his teammate and to defend from Frozer behind.
Yeah, I think Absolute got this a little bit covered for now. That was pretty close, but Frozer has used up all of his overtake already, only down with 321% now, as Guillotine's gaining a bit on Cash Daniel. But here comes Shankster and Napula, two old rivals battling in the way here in the Premier Series. The Mercedes going down the inside off the Haas and gets the move done up into 6th place. Napula will try and fight it, but just wasn't left enough room on the outside. But good racing between those two.
And in terms of the championship here, this is exactly what Napula does not need. Remember, he needs to outscore Absolute 11 by 6 points here, if needing to maintain some kind of championship challenge. And currently finds himself in P7. Absolute finds himself on the podium.
A small mistake there from Frozer, running a little bit wide in the penultimate corner. That could allow Cash Daniel to attack, but Frozer seems to be using up his soft tyres a lot, trying to attack Absolute 11, and that might give the opportunity for Cash Daniel to go by through when those soft tyres start to go off.
And Bon Evil now forming a bit of a train behind her now, from first all the way down to about 10th there, really. Driver separated between less than a second at the moment, so it's still all to play for here in the Premier Series.
Yeah, it's incredible. The gap from Bon Evil to F1 level is 4.5 seconds between 10 cars here. Ben Roberts has gone wide. That could allow F1 level to go through, but Ben Roberts is able to cover him off from behind.
And they're just on board there with the Alfa Romeo going through turns 9 and 10. Let's go back up here to the front where Frozer is much closer, but again, Natty, look at how much ERS that Absolute 11 has to play with here, and there's nothing that Frozer can do in a straight line. He has to get him into a corner, but it looks like Cass is gaining on the back of the Mercedes, goes to the inside. Cass Nickel down the inside into battle for third, locks up. Frozer will get the cut back. Cass goes off the track to try and keep the position, but he gives it up going into the next corner. And now look at Guillotine on the inside challenging Cash Dengel, and Guillotine now down the inside. There's almost contact between the two, and Guillotine just about keeps his front wing out of the side pod of the Alfa Romeo. That was very good driving there from the Brit as well.
You've got incredible racing everywhere. Ted trying to dive it down the inside of Bates after going 3 wide down the back straight with JMB Cyril. And these three are having a bit of a ding-dong battle as well as the leaders. Incredible racing here tonight. Frozer looks to be gaining an Absolute 11, but I think this slipstream train is really helping the likes of Absolute 11 try and keep out of being overtaken. So it's going to be tough for these guys, and you really need to get a good exit out of some of the corners. I think turn 12 is going to be the main overtaking opportunity.
Well, Frozer really needs to start saving his ERS, not go all-out attack on the button all the time, because he's just going to be completely vulnerable to Absolute 11. When we get to that raining conditions where the battery usage is so important, it will be really, really crucial that Frozer maintains a good state of charge. And now down the hill, Frozer's a lot closer on this occasion, but Absolute's lagging a lot there. Oh, that's Isaac Smart. Isaac Smart off in the first sector. There will be no safety car required for that, virtual or normal. Now look at that on board with the Mercedes. Just look at how the AlphaTauri just walks away in a straight line, where he's walking towards his teammate as Shankster making a move on Guillotine in the battle for 5th position. I thought that Absolute 11 was going to have a go for the lead. Decides to back out of it though. Quite content to sit there, save some fuel, save some tyres, and then have a go at his teammate later on. But Frozer is really pushing these. He's on the gearbox now of the two AlphaTauris, not letting them breathe here really. As look look at this train here, Natty. A beautiful shot of all the cars going through the reverse Turkey turn 8 style corner. And down towards turn 19.
Oh, so close. We talked about the gap being 4.5 seconds between the top 10. It's now about 4 seconds, maybe 3.8. So it's still really close between these guys. He's all of them keeping up in the DRS train. We've got about half of them using their ERS, about half of them conserving it, which should make for some really interesting overtaking opportunities. Maybe some 3 wide moments down to start the back straight. Sorry, maybe even down towards turn 1. It should be really interesting, especially when the soft tyres start to go off.
Under that camera. Oh, absolute 11 getting all sorts of out of shape in the first sector. I thought he'd lost that, but manages to get it all gathered back together again. And that dirty air really, really proving tricky for these drivers. Guillotine's made a mistake somewhere in there. He's now down to 9th. But as we were saying, then, they're all so close together. There's no real room for error, no margin for error here in this front pack.
And yeah, these drivers, so yeah, with the DRS all separated by 4/10, I reckon we're going to get a 3 wide moment here down towards turn 12.
And look for Absolute 11 gaining, going past, going ahead of Bonneville in the battle for the lead, and Cass is going to follow him through on the inside in a move against Froese, going to force his fellow Dutchman out there on the outside line, but Froese is still there on the inside for the next corner. Froese is going to fight this against Cash Dangle, these two fighting for championship standing as well, as now Cass on the inside. Froese has to give up the position. Will we see team orders here between the two Mercedes? Shanks looks like the stronger of the two at the moment, and he could close on Bonneville and Absolute 11.
And yeah, just slightly, the 2 AlphaTauris got out of the DRS range of Cash Daniel, but they've been able to close it back, and Bonneville's really close behind Absolute 11 with the overtake button, so it looks like there's no team orders here at AlphaTauri, not close enough to make a move just yet to turn 1, goes a little bit deep. That might allow Cash Daniel to get close, but Napoli!
Napula and Shanks are going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Sorry, the game wasn't giving me a great angle of that. Napula on the inside of Shanks. Shanks turned in to take the corner, and contact made at turn 1. Napula now drops down to 10th position.
Really unfortunate for Napula there. Only 1.8 seconds behind F1 level, but his medium tyres are going to be put slightly for the next lap or two as he tries to cool them down after that spin, but really unfortunate there for Napula.
And yeah, that is very, very unfortunate there for the Finnish driver who had had such a great run of form, but it's not over yet. Still 21 laps to go, including this one. In fact, you can still see Napula in the back of shot there, only 1.8 seconds behind F1 Lover. But now looking back to the front of the pack, that's Thunder making a move on Ben Roberts on the inside into turn 12. Can the Irishman get this move done? Ben still there on the outside. That turns to the inside for turn 13. But look at Thunder with the traction, trying to keep it round the outside of the Ferrari going into the next corner. Thunder on the inside. Can Ben get the switch back? Yes, he can, but does he have the traction? No, he doesn't, because Thunder keeps P6 in. I thought there was going to be another bit of side-by-side action there, but Ben backing out of the move. But Cass does need to get on with this now. He needs to be challenging Absolute 11 and making him push, making him use those medium tyres going into turn 1. Anyone close enough to make a move in the top 5? Doesn't look like it at the moment, or does it? As Cass gets very close to the rear wing of Bonnie on exit there.
I talked about Napula's tyres getting cooked after that spin. He's in for the soft compound tyre. Lap 9 on the mediums, which was really early for the Haas driver, so maybe going to try and take those softs long until the rain.
Well, if there's one thing that Napula loves to do, it is a crazy strategy. It didn't look like he had any front wing damage from that contact, as Bonnie picks up a 3-second time penalty there for track limits. But just managing that gap out in front is Bonnie at the moment, kind of sitting between 4 and 7/10 of a second. Bonnie now with the DRS on her teammate. I wish the game would stop giving me that camera angle.
Now looking at the battle for 8th place as well. F1 Lovers gaining on Guillotine. I think those mediums are starting to come into the better shape than the soft tyres now. The Alfa Romeo is going to try and swoop around the outside of the Williams. Didn't quite get the move done. We have a better line though in towards turn 13, but Guillotine is just able to stay ahead for now.
And looking back on the Williams or F1 Lover, go for a move. He thought about it, but wisely decides to back out of an overtake there. Thunder now slightly being dropped by this front pack, 1.1 seconds behind Shankster, though that being said, that is no big margin whatsoever. Throws are getting out of shape on the exit of turn 20 as well. Up the hill once again, it feels like taking off in a plane, I am told, and it's that team orders from Mercedes. Shankster gets past his teammate and goes up into 4th position. What can he do now on those medium tyres? As you're saying there, Natty, it looks like the softs are fading.
Yeah, if it was team orders, it didn't look very well planned. Shanks appeared to have had to fight for that, but I'm seeing a few mistakes starting to come out of the drivers now. A lot of people going deep and wide into the final corner, locking up as well. But it's not going to help their tyre wear. So, yeah, the tyres seem to be going off a little bit. So close, they're getting a little bit loose on the rear, so I think the softs are starting to fade in this race now.
Bonnie very wide on the exit of turn 9. That's going to give Cash Stengel all the incentive he needs to go past the Alpha Tauri, I'm sure. As he heads down the back straight now, Bonnie has got a loss of ERS charge, but so does Cass. She's gone defensive. Here comes Cass in the slipstream, pulls out to the right hand side. Cass going to try and work it to the outside of turn 12. Bonnie closes the door, and nothing that Cass can do to try and get past the Alpha Tauri at this stage. But Bonnie's locked up now. The Englishman making a mistake into the next corner. Could Cass dive it down the inside of the double apex left hand and decides to back out of it, but Bonnie's wide, and here comes Cash Stengel now with the overlap, with the traction round the outside of turn 18. Have you ever seen anything like it before? Cash Stengel getting himself up into P2 in his pursuit of his championship rival, Absolute 11, and what an absolutely cracking move that was. The Dutchman now goes up into P2.
Absolutely incredible racing. I was looking at the battle down at 12th place and ended up with G-Swag Bates, unfortunately getting
Here
ring
comes
damage.
Shankster had a look into turn 1, Bonnie sends it on Cass, and Bonnie gets back up into P2, Shankster round the outside of Cash Stengel into P3, and looking at Bonnie now, the Englishwoman into the S's, but Shankster has to back out of that, nowhere to go for the German, and what an incredible sequence of corners that was. I was not expecting Bonnie to dive it down the inside of the Dutchman at all there. That was a great move.
And well, that battle has now got Absolute 11 a 1.3 second advantage, and more crucially 2 cars in between himself and his championship rival, currently now in 4th place. But those two drivers fighting for the championship currently don't have any penalties.
And Bonnie will not have a DRS advantage to defend against Shankster now. Down the back straight, Shankster, who won the last race, goes very aggressively to the inside of the track, pulls back onto the racing line, as is his right, and goes up into 2nd position. So that was a crucial move there for Shankster if he wants to win this race. The man who started in 6th position currently finds himself in 2nd, but that rain is definitely coming here, Natty. The clouds are gathering a little bit over the final sector now.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting actually to see what tyres these drivers go on to, because I've been told there's 1 bar of rain at the end, and we know sometimes it doesn't always rain when there's 1 bar at the end. It might rain now, it could rain on lap 28, so will they risk it and going for another set of mediums, or will they go into the hard tyres?
Well, someone's in the pits. Frozer is in the pit lane now. Let's see what tyres the Dutchman goes on to. It is a set of the mediums that the Mercedes crew have selected for their driver. And he will exit the pit lane, probably in between JMB Surreal and Nakler. In fact, very interesting to see when Nakler comes out and all of this. Let me switch this over to the... Ooh. Natty. I think Nakler could come out in a very good position here, because this front pack all so close together and all battling. Yellows in sector 1, Frozer's off. Frozer's gone round on cold tyres, and now Nakula goes up into P10. But these top group, Natty, they are battling with each other so much, they're costing each other time. And Nakula, who came in for that, well, insane undercut strategy, very aggressive, now finds himself within their pit stop window, more or less.
Yeah, definitely. I hate to cut the action short, but I believe the share play has stopped.
Oh.
And,
why? It shouldn't have.
I'm not sure.
It's not been going for more than an hour.
We've now got a radio-styled race here tonight. I'll talk you through what's going on if you can still hear us. But we've got Napula making a move on Jamie Cyril down the back straight, and gets himself up into 9th place on those fresh softs after pitting early with that contact between himself and Shankster. as any of the leaders coming into the pits, and Absolute 11 diving into the pits. All the rest of the leaders decide to stay out. It's Ben Roberts diving into the pits as well. Everyone else staying out, so it's just Absolute 11 and Ben Roberts turning into the pits out of the leaders.
Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I'm not too sure what happened there because it hasn't been going for an hour. We've only 13 laps into this race, believe it or not. Let's see then when Napka comes out in relation to those top drivers who just pitted. Absolute 11 was leading this race. He has got a sizable advantage now over Napka, but Napka out ahead of Ben Roberts here. Just about.
The gap's 4 seconds between him and Absolute 11, so he's done well to recover from that spin to get the gap only down to 4 seconds. The gap between first and 10th was about 4 seconds, so he's done well to gain some time back after the pit stop.
Yeah, that's good work there from Napula. So the gap out in front now, 1 second between Shankster and Bonnie, so Bonnie will not have that DRS advantage. And it must be said, before that annoying little intermission there, sorry about that again, everybody, Shankster was closing the gap to Absolute 11, has got really, really good pace here, as we saw last time out in Singapore.
And something that's interesting to note is that I think Absolute 11's coming quite early from those mediums onto the softs. I'd have thought the mediums would go at least 15 odd laps before you'd come into the pits for the softs, so I think Absolute 11 might be banking on the rain coming earlier.
Well, Shankster has stayed out here. Shankster stays out, Bon Evil stays out, Cash Stengel stays out, Thunder as well. Has Absolute 11 made a mistake here?
Down inside of Bon Evil, in towards turn 1. Bon Evil's going to try and get a switchback move, but it looks like the Alfa Romeo is just going to keep ahead for now. This is really good for Cash Demo in his championship fight between him and Absolute 11.
Yeah, the game again giving me really bad camera angles of a battle into turn 1. Apologies everybody, but that's just Codemasters for you sometimes. But yeah, that's really good for Cats, but I have a sneaking suspicion here, Natty, that his championship rival has just made quite a sizable mistake. Because he is pitted very, very early for those soft tyres.
15 laps on softs. I mean, I know Napula likes to do something crazy with his tyre strategy. He'll be doing 19 laps on these softs if it doesn't rain. So I think these two are really banking on rain coming towards the end of this race. And if it does, their strategy's going to play off well. But if not, I struggle.
Bonnie very late on the brakes in her battle with Cash Stengel now. But yeah, we know that she likes to dive bomb, but look at the state of her front right tyre there. Absolute 11 going past Tiger in the battle for 6th place. I expect Tiger made that a bit easy for the German. Not really in his race at the moment. Bonnie now, will we see another send into turn 1, 6/10 behind Cash Stengel as it stands at the moment. Halfway through this 28 lap race, rain is coming at some point, but not now. Skies still look nice and blue.
I've had somewhat of a thought. Absolute 11 pitting on lap, what, 13, 14? I think that's the default strategy for a 2-stop.
Oh.
Absolute 11 might be doing a 2-stop from a medium soft, because I think the game recommends, well, suggests the alternate strategy of a 2-stop on laps 13, 14 from mediums to soft, so this could be an interesting strat from Absolute 11.
Well, if that is the case, he really needs to push, because he essentially needs to gain a gap of a pit stop over the drivers he's currently fighting. I'm talking, of course, about Shankster, Cash Stengel, Bon Evil, and Thunder here. F1 Love Ride thrown into the mix as well. As Frozen picks up another 3-second time penalty and not really making enough progress against Napla at the moment, despite being on fresher medium tyres.
And I think a pit stop in this around this track cost about 18 seconds. Absolute's got the gap to 12.9 between him and Shankster, so he's definitely got the pace on those softs, but has he got enough pace to make a possible 2-stop work?
I will have to wait and see. Thunder though closing to within a second of Bonnie. Now Bonnie really looks like she's struggling on those tyres. Those sends have really put some energy through that front right in particular. Let's run on board with the AlphaTauri. You can see what I'm talking about. She dives into the pits though at the end of lap 15 here. What's it going to be for the Englishwoman? Alright, we'll stay on board, sorry, with the AlphaTauri as she rolls into the pits. It looks like the Redwood soft tyre. Bonnie going for the softs. Is this a doubly aggressive strategy here from AlphaTauri? They must be banking on that rain.
Yeah, I mean, I think softs can go to the... I think 12 lap on softs is much more doable than 15, say 16 laps, but for Napula to try and do 19 would definitely be a stretch from him, who's currently on the back of Ben Roberts in the Ferrari. But once Shanks has got clean air, he's bolted from Cashdown with a gap of almost 3 seconds now.
Yeah, Shanks are able to control the pace at the moment here, out in front. But look at the gap that Absolute 11 now has over Boniva, but more importantly than that, look at the traffic that Bonnie now has to get through. Tiger, Ben Roberts, Nagler, Frozer have all jumped Bonnie in that sequence of pit stops. She was in 3rd position, so you would think that the situation for Shanks and for Cash Dental will not be that much better.
Yeah, here comes Boniva now on the Mercedes of Frozer. Frozer going defensive to the inside, both have the DRS. Boniva's going to utilise more of the overtake button to the outside of the Mercedes, and it looks like it's going to be an easy move for the AlphaTauri.
Nagler as well there in the foreground, making a move on Ben Roberts for P7 as it stands. Does Shankster come into the pits? Shankster stays out. They're staying out to the rain, aren't they?
Bomber dives into the pits, but the top 2 pit, we've got a yellow flag in sector 1, I think that's Isaac Smart round.
Yeah, he's got pointed back in the right direction. He will just continue on his way. F another into the pits now as well. What tyres is this for? Oh, Thunder has a penalty to serve, it looks like.
And I'm looking at Absolute's time. He's now only 9 seconds behind Shankster.
Oh, it's looking good, but it's looking better for Boniva. Boniva sent it, and that's the caused a massive crash. Boniva sends it into turn 1, trying to get past, I think that was Napula, or Boniva, one of the two. Nearly caused a massive accident there with Napula as she tried to get the car stopped. And yeah, I guess if you're gonna go full send, but jeez.
That was quite a big lunge. But here comes Boniva again, got a good run on that for the might try and send into the turn 11, but I think he did better of it.
We know she likes to send. Now with her DRS open, Tiger kind of being the cork in the bottle. Bonnie doesn't need the DRS, so pulling it out and alongside the hats. Going down the back straight towards turn 12. She's going to go to the inside. Nap is looking for a move as well. They're going 3 wide into turn 12. And now Bonnie on the outside that gets the move done on Napla. Or does she? Napla back down the inside. Bonnie keeps it though round the outside on those pressure softs. And now goes to the inside of Tiger. He doesn't put up too much of a fight there. He's going to be forced off the track there as well by Napula. He puts himself now up into P5. And Cass in the pits. So Cass has bailed on that one-stop strategy. Shankster still out there in front.
Oh, Frozer and Ben Roberts going well to will through the penultimate corners. There's contact made between the Mercedes and the Ferrari. Ben Roberts being set into a half spin but was able to catch it. But crazy action here in the midfield as Frozer's got a good run on Tiger, and who's now a sitting duck effectively on those 17 lap off mediums. Goes down the inside of the McLaren up into 5th place. Tiger doesn't fight it that hard, but the gap now between Absolute 11 and Shanks to only 7.5 seconds is making this strategy work if he's on the 2-stop, but the clouds are coming in thick and fast.
Look at where Cash Dental is now. 9/10 of a second behind Ben Roberts, and he was in 2nd place. I think, oh, never mind that. Ben Roberts is going to look for a move on the outside of Tiger. Sorry, I'll go back to my point in a minute because here comes Cass as well on those fresh tops. Going to make it 3 wide into turn 11. Cass with a double send on the inside and gets a double overtake. Lovely stuff there from Cass. He's on fire tonight.
As you can tell, he's really looking. He really wants this championship. Battling with these guys, trying to catch up to Absolute 11. Ben Roberts with the DRS as well. Cash Dental also has the DRS, so it doesn't look like the Ferrari will gain all that much on the Alfa Romeo. But if it doesn't rain soon, I have faith Absolute 11's 2-stop It could work if it doesn't rain. He's gaining a lot of time on Shankster. He's gained about 10 seconds in the past 10, 9, 8 laps.
And Shankster stays out again at 1 minute 37.5. Oh, that's Isaac Smart at turn 1. Will we see a safety car for that, maybe?
Do you think Shankster's trying to extend those mediums to the rain?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think he is. And
After the pits.
look at the clouds.
That put us into the pits from those worn soft tyres, so that could have been him already committed to a 2-stop.
So Shankster though here, Natty, goes in sectors 1 and 2. That's Isaac Smart again going the wrong way. Needs to be careful coming back onto the track as well. Luckily, ghosting is enabled here in the Premier Series. But it's suddenly looking very, very overcast here. Shankster actually picks up a 3-second time penalty there for track extending. But I don't know how to call this. Shankster needs this to rain like now for his race. So Isaac Smart getting out of the way of a few cars there. Good sportsmanship from the British driver.
And it's going to be interesting to know how quickly the rain's going to come down, because it's not guaranteed it's going to rain and then suddenly be intermediates and everyone be in for the green stripe tyres. It could rain, but not rain enough. So the likes of Shankster could be slightly screwed. At the risk of a puncture here, 18 laps on mediums. The game only recommends 17, I think.
And Shankster is staying out.
And you can just see the wear on the front right especially. But Absolute 11 is gaining a lot of time, now only 5 seconds behind Shankster. He's really bringing the time back, so ideally he doesn't want it to rain just yet until he can catch up to the Mercedes.
Goes to sector 3. Oh, Isaac Smart, big crash. Will that be a safety car or virtual safety car? He will get back rolling again, just looking for a space to go back onto the track. Still got yellows in that sector.
Ben Roberts and Fraser going wheel to wheel towards turn 1. The Ferrari on the inside of the Mercedes, they're still going to go wheel to wheel in towards turns 3 and 4. The S's of the first section. Fraser on the outside, they're still going to go wheel to wheel, but Ben Roberts just pulls back a little bit and allows Fraser to go through. Great racing between those.
And that's that F1 love of the Anglo Ghanaians to close on to the back of these two. Now JMB Surreal is on the intermediates. I was about to say we've hit a bit of a lull here, but yeah, no, we haven't. We absolutely haven't. Oh, Isaac Smart has retired from the session in the pit lane, so that will not cause a safety car, or shouldn't do at least. DRS open now for Ben Roberts in this battle with Fraser. Fraser pushes him towards the inside of the track, but Ben gets moved on before we even get to the next braking zone, and it is way too early for intermediates. What?
It's raining. The rain is coming.
Oh, wow.
Right, riding on board, and you can see that the rain is starting to fall very, very lightly here. On lap 20, about to start lap 21 out of 28, it's literally come right at the end of the session. There's yellow flags. I think that could be for Ted or JMB Surreal. I think those intermediates aren't working very soon.
I think it was JMB Surreal. Lost a lot of time to Ted. All of a sudden there, Ted on the inside. There's no contest there really. Ted making the move on Spaniel Shanks. Guillotine and Natha having their own little ding-dong battle as well there. As Natty, I think Shankster's bossed this, you know.
He might,
because,
or he might not. We're going to have to wait and see how heavy this rain comes.
Because he now finds himself in the lead, well, legitimately, having not made another pit stop, but Absolute is right there. As you've been saying, it's kind of worked out for both of them, but Shankster really needs this to rain a lot more right now.
Yeah, Shankster has no choice. He has to pit. The next time he pits, he will be in for the intermediates, whether it's raining or not. I don't think he's got the softs in mind at this stage of the race. He's already committed to this strategy of staying out on those medium tyres. And well, interesting though.
Here comes Cass on Bonnie moving very late in the day there, but Cass is going to go down the inside, locks up into turn 12. Barrel Force Bonnie to take the long route round at turn 13. She can't commit to that line. We'll try and get a switch back now on Cass, but look for a move into 14, backs out of it. You were saying, Natty?
I have absolutely no idea what I was going to say, but what I am going to say is Absolute 11 is all over the back of Shankster. Shankster doesn't pit, nor does Absolute 11, so this is where the race comes
Yellows.
into the hands of Absolute 11. I think that's GMV's around on the Inters. Here comes Absolute 11 though. Now the fight for the lead of the race. Shanks is going to be more of a sitting duck here, as here comes Absolute 11 on 8-lap-old softs compared to 20-lap-old mediums. Goes down the inside of the Mercedes and up into the lead of the race.
Sitting duck, that duck was fast asleep, mate. Absolute good blast past Shanks that goes up into P1 and back into the lead of this race. Hasn't won a race since round 4. Yellows again. It is too dry for Inters. It's too dry for Inters. JMB Surreal spinning again on the exit of turn 9.
We're talking about how Shanks might have lost the strategy, but it doesn't look like the rain's coming down hard enough. He needs it to just absolutely chuck it down this lap, because he needs to pit. He's done 21 laps on mediums. He's dangerously close to puncture territory, and this could allow Absolute 11 to pull away and possibly even win this race.
I would be surprised if Shanks isn't already in puncture territory. Once you get above about 73 or 74%, that is when you start being at serious risk of punctures. And in these slippery conditions here, Natty, the last tyre I would want to be on are 21-lap-old mediums.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Clash Deng as well, gaining on Shanks. Everyone will be gaining on this man. He's on the oldest tyres, the most worn tyres, apart from Spanner, who's done 21 laps on hard, so his tyres are going to be in more shape. And there's JM Boosteroo staying out the way nicely for Shanks for Absolute 11. His strategy of pitting early might have worked. Well, it's worked really well. He's now leading this race, but if those soft tyres don't go to the end, it might be tough for him.
Shankster stays out again for another lap, and here comes Cash Stengel. Well, I mean, Shankster has to pit at some point here, Nancy, and I don't think it's going to rain enough for the Inters. I don't think it will. It's not coming. The rain's not coming down enough. It's way too dry. Shankster now, I think, has to just commit to that one-stop accept and just try and charge back through the field on those softs.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the inside, the gap to leader, Thunder getting past Ben Robertson towards turn 1. He's going to come out well down the order, maybe P9 behind Napula. So it's worked, but it hasn't worked. He really needs it just to absolutely pour down now.
Well, he needs to pour down because Bonnie's now got past Shankster as well in the battle for P3.
And something just to know, Bonnie is getting really loose in the middle. That's going to allow Shankster to get back up into podium positions. I'm not sure he's going to be able to fight it for much longer. I'm not sure if Bonnie will try anything into the hairpin, but you never know. She might send one down the inside.
She does like to stand.
But a mistake from the top front two. Neither of them have penalties. I think a penalty will be costly for either driver in the championship.
And Bonnie does get Shankster. So 5 laps to go. It's the battle for the championship out on track.
And
Cass now sorry.
So as I say, Cash Deng and Absolute 11 both have 2 warnings. So if either one of them cuts another corner, they'll be gifted a wonderful 3-second time penalty.
And Cass here has closed to within DRS range. Shankster finally comes into the pits. After 23 laps on mediums, he's going to pit for the soft, so it is not going to rain enough for the intermediates there confirmed. Shankster goes onto the soft tyres, and it was a valiant effort from Shankster, it really was, but he's going to be down into P9 now, and he has got some overtaking to do. Speaking of people with overtaking to do, Cass and Absolute, they're going at it on track. He's going to win.
Yeah, this fight on track is also for constructors as well as drivers. Bonnie and F1 never running in 3rd and 4th for their respective constructors, so it's looking good for both of them. Cash Deng, we're getting really close to the rear of that AlphaTauri. Those soft tyres starting to die off a little bit for Absolute 11. Cash Deng was on half the tyre life as Absolute, so this might be easier for Cash Deng than it is for Absolute.
DRS open for the Alfa Romeo into turn 12 as a look. He's playing some mind games, just toying with Absolute 11 at the moment. Has a look on the inside line, backs out of it though. And now we're going to get to see the 2 championship protagonists battle this out on track in equal machinery here. Not quite equal on tyre life, we'll ignore that. Lap 24 of 28. Absolute has to take these tyres a few more laps just to get to the end here. And we were talking about how both of those 2 drivers, Absolute and Shankster, may have bossed their strategies tonight, Natty. Well, Might not look like that, because look at Cash Stengel only 0.3 of a second behind. He's pushing the AlphaTauri through the final corner and now down the main straight. Cash going to look to the inside here, surely going into turn one. He is going to look for the inside, makes the move on absolute nothing that the German can do to get past his championship rival. Or is there on the overlap, on the exit, has to tuck back into the slipstream, going into the S's on lap 25 of 28. Is there anything that Absolute can do? Looking back from Cash Stengel. No, that's a Mercedes, never mind. Absolute then still trying to pressurize Cass. But now, Natty, Absolute has got no tyres left, and the pendulum has swung left, swung right, it's swung back towards the favour of Cash Stengel. Now he leads this race by 1.4 seconds, and nothing Absolute could do about that move.
And if the race were to finish as it is now, Cash Stengel would close the gap in the championship to only 1 point again behind Absolute 11. It happened before Singapore, and now after Singapore, the gap could be closed even more. And don't count Thunder out for a good result, potentially even a podium. 6 seconds behind Bonnie Evil, only has 3 seconds of time penalties. F1 Lava and Bonnie both have 9, so it could be a good result from the Red Bull driver if we can keep it clean and just gain a little bit more time on Bonnie Evil.
And Thunder only 0.6 of a second behind F1 Lover now. And Thunder hasn't been on the podium since Bahrain, round 1. Would deeply like to change that this evening with 3 laps left to go in this race. But it doesn't look like Absolute has an answer for Cash Stengel's pace out in front. The gap's already up to 2 seconds.
And in terms of constructors, Alfa Romeo will be scoring more points than AlphaTauri. The current championship leaders are in fact Alfa Romeo, so they'll be able to extend their championship lead in constructors, but for Cash Stengel, will be gaining crucial points in his Drivers' Championship 5.
And look at Thunder getting all kinds of out of shape on the exit of turn 20. Still does not have that DRS flap open to gain him an extra speed advantage down the straight, but Shankster, does he have it? Is DRS disabled here, Natty?
I haven't seen anything from the race director.
Just to take you through the penalties here. So, Bonnie, 9 seconds. F1 Lover, 9 seconds. Thunder on 3. So, as you were saying before, that could put him in a very good position come the end of the race. Ben Robertson, Nat for the 2 Mercedes, almost going wheel to wheel. There for the end of the first sector. Oh, Wolfie spun. He's on the grass in sector 2. The 2 Mercedes still going at it here. No T-Borders down there as it stands, but Shankster on the inside as they emerge from over the crest. Shankster gets ahead of his teammate now, up into 8th place. He's now 4.3 seconds behind Ben Roberts, but Ben has got 15 seconds of time penalties compared to Shankster's 12.
And yeah, don't count out Thunder for a podium just yet. Penalties are almost within his favour. He just needs to find a 10th in the next 2 laps on the on Bonnie Evil, but Absolute 11 is really struggling on those soft tyres now, locking up into almost every single corner. Here comes Bonnie Evil, gaining and gaining and gaining on his teammate.
More yellows in sectors 2 and 3. Oh, it's Shankster! Shankster's round on the exit of turn 12! And that's heartbreaking for Shankster, and he spun again here. With those overheated soft tyres, he will be limping back to the pits for a fresh set, and that bad luck that plagues him so much in the opening stages of this championship rears its ugly head once again, and Shanks will drop out of the points-paying positions here, I think.
And this is so unfortunate for Shanks. We just keep mentioning how his bad luck continues in this league. Fraser also into the pits. Does he have damage? Is he coming in for Inters?
Frozer? Oh. Seeing a bit of a deadly Jason strategy here.
And Bonnie's past Absolute 11! Actually, got a puncher!
Puncher for the championship leader, lap 27! Absolute 11, he pitted earlier for those tyres, now has a front left puncher. Shankster retires from the session, but Absolute lets the drop through the field like an absolute stone here. 2 laps left to go. He has to limp it back to the pits here, Natty. DRS disabled. It's time for intermediates as well. Massive drama here. Absolute's going to finish off the podium, Natty. And that will see Cash Stengel lead the championship for the first time in his career. And look at how much they're sliding. Look at how much they're sliding everywhere. Could Frozer come back into this?
Could this be the turning point in the championship for Cash Dengel? Could race where Absolute 11 still got a puncture? It's going to really help Alfa Romeo, but Absolute 11's lost
he
it.
spun! And now look at F1 for going past Thunder, crawling past as well. No one's got any grip. Thunder on the inside, Napula on the inside. They've got absolutely nothing to play with. F1 was off the track. He's nearly gone through one of the billboards there. Napula trying to get past Thunder as well. He's got to find any grip. And Absolute's off the track. Absolute's off the track. He's down to P7. He's not going to score points.
My.
He's not going to score points here, Natty. Big drama.
You couldn't write this. Shakespeare couldn't write a script as well as this. This is so... We talked about Absolute 11's strategy and Shanks' strategy. Both of them we thought were godlike strategies. But it turns out Cash Dengel had the best strategy all along. And now Absolute 11's having to come into the pit shamelessly with a puncture on the
he's crashed at the pit wall! He's crashed at the pit entry! And he manages to crawl it into the pits. But Napula gets past Thunder. That could be crucial in one of them getting onto the podium here. Napula gets ahead of the Red Bull. They're still racing for position. Cass is going to try and keep this on track best he can. It's 8.9 seconds between Napula and Bon Evil. It doesn't look like Bonnie will be relinquishing that second place despite the amount of penalties that she has received over this race. Guillotine ahead of Absolute now. Absolute just exiting the pit lane. He is in 10th, but luckily there's a minute gap now behind to Ted. What an insane, crazy, strange race. Cash coming round of the final into the final sector, sorry.
Wow, I was just riding on board with Absolute 11, see Bon Evil go flying through yellows.
GSI Bates, that's Bates who spun round, sorry. I thought something even more dramatic had happened there. But Cash Dengel now is going to go around the final few corners. He didn't look like the man who was going to win this race, but he's made it work, made the strategy work, has aced everything to perfection, takes the championship lead for the first time in his career. Cash Dengel rounds the final corner, drifts for show, and he's going to win the American Grand Prix. Well done to Cass. It will be Bonnie. He finishes in second after all of that spins across the line. Just extra points for style. Then Napula still makes it 4 races from 4 on the podium. He will finish third. Thunder will finish in fourth, his best result since Bahrain. F1 lover in fifth, Ben Roberts in sixth. Frozen will go up into sixth on penalties. Tiger Assassin comes round the final corner. He'll be very delighted, with points in this race. Goes into P6 on penalties. Great stuff there from him. Guillotine is Guillotine rounds the final corner. He finishes in the points as well. But the big upset today, Absolute 11 scores 1 solitary point, loses his championship lead, and that could be a red letter day in terms of the championship.
Gap out front, Cash Dengel takes the lead now, and it's set at 16-point advantage over Absolute 11 now behind the Alfa Romeo for the first time this season. A turning point in the league. It's like 2016 real life all over again, and Hamilton had that famous engine failure followed by the famous team radio. Could this be where Cash Dengel makes this pushes now for the championship with only 2 races to go?
And what that means next week, Natty, in Mexico, if Cash Dengel wins the race and Absolute 11 is third or lower, Cass will become your Premier Series champion. Sorry, I sneezed. Sorry, but what this also does mean though, Natty, is that Napula is still in the hunt, I think, in third position there. Outscoring Absolute by about 14 points. That might be just enough to keep him in it.
I'll quickly check now, but what an absolute incredible race. I mean, I was looking at that race, seeing Napula down in 9th, 8th place, saying that the spins really cost him, and now he's somehow found his way on the podium.
Crazy, amazing, incredible race. a bit of a quiet one last time out in Singapore. It's made up for more than that though here in Austin. F1 Lover gets the in-game driver of the day. What a crazy race. Whoever comes out on top as champion will certainly have earned it, but the man who's earned the win today is that man, Cash Dennell. He has taken the win, takes the championship lead for the first time this season, and it's looking very rosy for the Dutch driver.
Yeah, huge congrats to Cash Dennell. Really unfortunate and unlucky for Absolute 11. Questioned him pitting too early, and it did not pay off for him. But unfortunately as well, just made the calculations. Napula is now out of the championship fight. Unfortunately for him, it's now a two-horse race between Absolute 11 and Cash Dennell.
So we'll take you through your final classification here after the United States Grand Prix. Cass takes the win, Bonnie in second, Napula makes it 4 races from 4 on the podium, Thunder, great result for him in 4th, F1 Lover in 5th, Tiger in 6th, great result for the McLaren team, Frozen 7th, Ben Roberts 8th, Absolute 11, Guillotine in 9th, sorry, and Absolute 11, Big Shocker down in 10th, Ted 11th, Spannel in 12th, Wolfie 13th, JMB Surreal 14th, GS5 Bates 15th, and then our non-classified finishers Shankster and Isaac Smart will round out the grid here. So, some instant race reaction from you, Natty.
Absolutely incredible. We didn't know when the rain was going to come, we didn't know how heavy the rain was going to come, and eventually it came on the final 2 laps when the DRS was eventually disabled. It wasn't right enough for intermediates, and that was the last race of the season. What an end that would be. 2008 vibes right there.
Yeah,
absolutely incredible.
Hopefully we do get some 2008 vibes as we had season, but in between that, ladies and gentlemen, our first championship decider of the season in the Premier Series, next time out in Mexico, next week, Wednesday, 8:30, don't miss it. F1 Lover will post about it on the Instagram, I'm sure, but as far as I know, unless Absolute 11 can outscore, unless Cash Dennell can outscore Absolute 11 by 9 points, the championship will go to the final round in Brazil. That's some quick maths there for you, but that's not it from the Gavra racing community this week. Tune in tomorrow where Tiger and maybe Dutchy, it could also be Byron, will be taking you through all of the Super League action, also from the USA, the fastest drivers here in F1, and if you want to see me and Natty out on track, we're in that series. Then on Friday it's one last swan song for season 3 of the GT Sport League. Dutchy already has been crowned the champion, but it should be a great race nonetheless. On Saturday, Natty, you've got a jam-packed weekend ahead of you. Assetto Corsa, first round of the season. They have a safety car in that league, which should be interesting to see how that works out. That will be streamed on Saturday. And on Sunday, I believe we have the weekend league. And in between those 2 races, we also have a one-off special event back here on F1. Head to the website for more details on that. But from me, from Natty, from the rest of the Gavra community, great race, well done Premier Series drivers, potential championship decider next week, don't miss it, goodbye.
See you next week.
Alright. Goodbye everyone. And thanks again guys, really awesome. You all have a good night, alright? And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.